Time management tips for SAT Math Module 2.
For Module 2 of the SAT Math section, pacing is refined with immersion and repetition to get familiarity, and then you pick up the tempo. As before, don't spend more than 20 seconds on a question. Skip it and come back.
Aim for 10 minutes for 10 questions, and as you get toward the end of the module, you should have freed up enough time to tackle the harder problems that remain with time to spare. Now here's the plan. Upon starting the module, you want to immediately determine which problems are going to be super easy to solve mentally, which ones require some writing of algebraic steps, and which ones are annoying to you personally and require Desmos to examine cases or need a few reads to analyze the answer choices.
As with Module 1, you want all standard formulas and theorems memorized and rehearsed.
For speed, you only want to pull out Desmos or a TI-84 when necessary.
These are best invoked when you want to quickly get answers to a system of nonlinear equations and similar scenarios that would eat up too much time when solved painstakingly on paper with algebraic precision. As a side bonus, you often eliminate the need to check for extraneous solutions that way.
That being said, know your equations for circles and how to complete the square. That can be done by hand fast enough.
Any questions involving complicated quadratic expressions that have a bunch of fixed constants written as letters can be safely bookmarked for the very end after you have done every other more routine type of problem. These require some more deliberation, and that can easily take a full 2 minutes if you find the wording tricky. Definitely know various factorization patterns as well as the standard, vertex, and intercept forms of the quadratic functions and their related formulas. If you covered conic sections before, that may be worth a quick review in general.
Also, there may be a bunch of range, median, mode, and arithmetic mean questions that study how the values change when data sets are combined or when the data values are increased or decreased by a fixed amount.
For these, make sure to practice similar questions from an AP statistics text. They are really easy when you are familiar with these, but if your instructors skip random probability and statistics topics after your geometry classes, it's important to study these topics on your own. Finally, know how to work percent calculations inside and out as well as anything dealing with parallel and perpendicular lines. This, and the various ways linear data can be presented, is tested heavily throughout the exam.
Overall, these questions are some of the fastest to answer, even though they often appear as chunky word problems, so get well acquainted with them now to blitz through them later. Oh, and whenever possible, write your student-produced responses as fractions. You are less likely to make minor rounding errors compared to writing the solutions in decimal approximations. Still be mindful and double-check your work at all times.
Okay, so for the math section, especially the harder module, here's what helped me a bunch. For any and all equations where you encounter one unknown like 23(5x3312) or SMTH, you can just plug this into Desmos and it'll like draw a line where the actual variable x is. This is a lifesaver for complex stuff. For those circle problems, graph them in Desmos and you'll be able to see the radius there by adding up the two endpoints. This'll also show you mins and maxes super quick. Master Desmos regression techniques, it's literally a cheat code for best fit line problems and data analysis questions. It'll save you so much time. Always read each math question carefully, those small details usually significantly change how you interpret and answer the question. Sometimes I like to write down my problem on a piece of paper and sketch a diagram if I feel like I don't completely understand it. For data analysis, try different regression models: linear, exponential, quadratic in Desmos to find the best fit. It's super useful for those questions about how data sets change. Graph both sides of an equation separately in Desmos to find intersection points representing solutions. It's a great visual way to check your work too. When given data points, use Desmos's regression features to find underlying patterns and make predictions. Double-check your work by plugging final answers back into original equations or constraints, using Desmos as a verification tool. It's really easy to make silly mistakes, so this helps a lot. Know the rules of exponents inside and out, product of powers, quotient of powers, power of a power, etc. Use Desmos to test different exponent rules with numerical examples. For geometry problems, always draw a diagram, even if one is provided. Label all known information and any relationships you can deduce. It helps you visualize to just like keep on drilling these ideas into your head. I built a Chrome extension called Flashy Surf. I'm chronically online LMAO, and it displays random flashcards with SAT questions that pop up on every few web browsers, that basically drill it in your head and helps you learn it without having to like sit down and study, or at least it worked for me, LOL. It also shows you the right way to solve it instantly and lets you take notes on your mistakes, so it's great for correcting mistakes in my opinion, and I would really appreciate it if you gave it a try.